Peace. It's Jamal Robinson with 720astrology.com. So I'm trying something new today. Got one of my DSLR cameras with me because I wanted a cleaner look when I record videos in my truck. So let's begin the maiden voyage with a discussion about quadruplicities in astrology. The word quad, or the root quad, means four. Plicity means layers. And if you know anything about astrology, it is a language that is layered. You can never just learn one thing in astrology and that's it. Like if you're going to look at a birth chart, you learn, well, if your sun is in Leo, then this is how you are. If your sun is in Cancer, this is how you are. And then you base the rest of your journey on, well, all Leos are this way, all Cancers are that way. Well, no, that's just one facet. That's just one layer. You got to take into account what other planets are aspecting your sun. Aspecting means angles. And so it goes back to math. So if there's a 90-degree angle to your sun, then that's going to affect how your sun expresses. If there's a 90-degree angle to your moon and all the other planets, it's going to affect how they express. There are so many facets to astrology. So if nothing else, astrology is a very layered, symbolic language that is describing, when we talk about the birth chart, a very layered and complex person, which is you and I. We're all unique, complex, and that's why every birth chart is so unique. And when you look at one, you're trying to crack a code, because that's what it is. It's a cosmic, symbolic, mathematical, scientific, mystical, we can go on and on, code that makes up each one of us. So getting back to quadruplicities, that's just one facet of looking at the layers. And it's breaking the layers into four parts based on the elements. Quad, four elements, four layers. Now, those quadruplicities are fire, earth, air, and water. Now, those elements have archetypal expressions. Fire, and I'm just going to squeeze this down so we can be as concise as possible and not have to use up a lot of time. Fire, simply identity. Because when a fire is lit, you don't need to announce it, it announces itself. Earth, solidity. Earth, when we talk about cultures, when they go back and find anthropologists and archaeologists, they'll go back and find old earthenware of this particular culture or this particular group of people at this particular time. So they'll use the earthenware to get an indication of, for one, how civilized a group of people were, their customs, culture. Earthenware can give indication of their artwork, their religion, their spiritual inclinations. So earth solidifies things. And that's the value of earth. It grounds things. Earth is unique because it's the only element that we actually interact with and live on nonstop. We walk on the earth. We eat from the earth. we return to the earth. We come from the earth. So there's earth. Air. Air is mental. It's the thought processes. Air is necessary for us to have life because air is the animating force that gives us breath. So, air also allows for rapid travel. Literally, that comes down with the airplane. You know, we can travel through the sky like a bird, which allows us to maneuver faster and to avoid a lot of obstacles that would normally be in our way because we are above them. Then you have water. Water is necessary because it is the rejuvenating element that, in addition to air, we gotta have water. Water creates a flow. Water deals with emotions. If you take away the emotion of a human, you don't have a human anymore. You have an empty vessel. So water gives us the ability to feel, to know that we are alive because we feel the experience. We have an energetic flow, which is what emotion is. It's the flow of energy, emotion. So water allows for that. And I think I cheated out fire because I wasn't even planning on going even to this depth as far as description. But let me go back to fire, not to cheat fire, because I'm a fire rising sign. I ain't gonna cheat myself. Fire is not just identity. Fire is light. It's warmth. Fire is a directive, because if we can see fire, i.e. light, then we can have some sense of where we're going. Fire also can be a representative of hope in its connection to light. If I see some type of light in context with darkness, then I can feel like I have something I'm moving towards out of the darkness, which darkness symbolically representing confusion, darkness representing lack of knowledge. So fire is symbolically enlightenment, because light has always been associated with gnosis or knowledge. Now that I've given a brief overview of these four elements, let's talk about the positives and the negatives of each element. Fire is beautiful when it provides warmth and it provides light. Fire is also great even when it's cooking things. But the danger of fire is that it can burn. And so if you have a lot of fire in your chart or significant fire placements, then you always want to be mindful of your light not becoming a bonfire and burning people up. I'm a fire sign rising, so sometimes people will react to your fire even if you haven't done anything, because it is visible. Fire is always visible. So you always have to be sure of your fire, because fire is also confidence. But you want to make sure and careful that you're not burning people up, at least not intentionally. Now, if your fire is burning them up because of their insecurity, well, that's for them to deal with, and it's not your concern when people are projecting on you. But for you and your intent, it's always important with a lot of fire to maintain the intention of not burning people up, and to use your fire to provide warmth and light. Earth. Earth. If you're Earth rising or you have a lot of Earth in your chart or prominent Earth placements, the power you possess is the power to solidify things and bring them into reality. Because Earth is about reality. It's about solidity. And in this realm, it's not real until it comes into the realm of Earth. Meaning we can touch it, we can taste it, we can hold it, we can see it, we can directly experience it with all the senses. The danger of Earth is the smothering. Because how do we put a fire out? We take Earth. The best way to put a fire out, throw some dirt on it. So the danger of Earth is to smother fire. Being careful not to smother someone's inspiration or to block out the light. And the other thing, the danger of Earth is to put too much emphasis on the tangible. Because although the tangible is associated with Earth, the realm we live in and on, there are more realities that make up our total reality. So with a lot of Earth, want to be careful to not overemphasize that. Air, the thoughts. The beautiful thing with air is that the mind can be so active. It can be so erudite. There can be this thirst for learning, this ability to communicate, the ability to acquire knowledge. The danger with air is to lean too much on the brain and intellect and the reliance upon sometimes an external means of procuring knowledge, when there's always a measure of knowledge encoded in the human. So air, if there's prominent air or a lot of air, we want to be careful to not lean too much on the mental functions, especially from the standpoint of the left brain. There's a need to incorporate a more circular aspect of thinking, even if we want to deal with the mental capacity, to incorporate the circular, which brings in a more liquid or watery aspect to combine with the air. There is a necessity to not overthink things and think yourself out the game. To let things ruminate for too long and to sit and let things fester and circulate through the mind the way you drive yourself crazy. Last, water. The power of water is flow. It is to feel. We tell people sometimes who have prominent water or a lot of water to not be so sensitive, as if this person can turn it on and off like a faucet. It doesn't work that way. Water is the filling mechanism, because water is the medium that allows everything to exist at once. Because water is a solvent. It is the perfect solvent. So each of us is a coagulate. I'm me, at least I assume myself to be me, and you assume yourself to be you. So each of us is a coagulation, the gathering of particles and vibration and atoms and cells, that this coagulate forms this person, this vessel. But water always reminds us that because it's a solvent, it is always a reminder of the connectivity of everything. The danger of too much water or prominent placements that we don't have in check is that water can drown. We can drown people if we do not learn how to master our emotions, if we do not learn how to mature emotionally and to tap into the emotional reservoir and to cultivate it. Then it's like a tsunami. It's like a hurricane, just water out of control. And now we have a disaster. We flooded the land. We've made the land is not viable anymore because we flooded everything. And even seeds need water, but they don't need to be drowned. So nothing can grow now. And water, when it gets out of control, can be like a wrecking ball. When that tidal wave comes in, it can knock down buildings. So emotions out of control can be greatly destructive. So I wanted to show all four of these to show strengths and weaknesses, because we are all interacting, like our interactions are based on a conglomerate of these elements interacting with each other through planetary representatives. In my little introduction to astrology handout, I talk about how planets are like verbs, because what do we learn about verbs? They are action oriented. They act. A verb in a sentence is the action. The signs are like adverbs, and the houses are like nouns, because adverbs modify verbs. So the signs modify the action of the planets. And all of this takes place in a place, person, place, or thing, noun. So the house is like a noun, the planet is the verb, and the sign is the adverb. It's modifying the verb. The action is modifying the planet's archetypal expression. So each of us got a whole universe, a multiverse going on inside of us. So when we interact with each other, we're interacting from the perspective of these complexities interacting with each other. So you walk into a place, and I get it all the time, and I feel like people got some type of animosity, and I'm like, I just walked in here. And likewise, I see people, and I get this feeling, I just don't like that person, or it may not be as acute as I don't like them. It's like something just doesn't seem right about them. And so what's happening is there's an archetypal reaction, because each of us has these planets positioned in different places, in different elements. There's also a chemical reaction, because the planets, astrology trickles down into every science: biology, chemistry, occultism, religion, language. It is the starting place for all of these sciences. There's a chemical reaction going on when you interact with someone. Why is it you just, you feel like, I'm just gonna go up and have a conversation with this person? It's because those planetary energies and the elemental dispersal within each of you has already communicated, and then we are just carrying out on the back end the communication that has already happened beforehand. Some amazing stuff. So that's it on that. Quadruplicities, 4 quadruplicities. This has been just an overview, just to give some context as to if you're looking at your chart or contemplating someone else's chart. For private readings, I'm available through my website, 720astrology.com. Know the stars to know yourself. Peace.